Good evening, guys. I've got C for you. Give me a minute to set up for the show, please, and I will be right with you. Okay, tonight's discussion C is navigating senior caregiving challenges. Expert tips. Key themes. Unexpected caregiving burden. Retirement plans can be upended by sudden health diagnosis, is as illustrated by the functional couple Kathleen and James. James's Parkinson's diagnosis shifted their focus from leisure to caregiving. Caregiver challenges. Financial strain. Many caregivers dip into personal savings, averaging $7,200 annually, especially difficult for retirees on fixed incomes. Okay, emotional stress. The constant demands of caregiving lead to burnout and emotional exhaustion. Loss of freedom, time constraints, and responsibilities limit personal autonomy and leisure. Expert insights. Preparation and adaptation. The story emphasizes the importance of planning for potential caregiving roles, even in retirement. Resilient strategies. While there's no easy fix, practical steps like financial planning and seeking support can help alleviate the burden. Would you like to explore how these insights could inform frailty-aware care models or caregiving training frameworks? Okay, absolutely. The emotional stress caregivers face is often profound and multifaceted. Based on the article's insights and broader research, here's a deeper look. Emotional stress and caregiving. Burnout and exhaustion. Consistent vigilance. Caregivers often feel they must be on 24/7, especially when caring for someone with cognitive decline or mobility issues. Sleep disruption. Nighttime caregiving or anxiety about emergencies can lead to chronic sleep deprivation. Um, Decision fatigue, making frequent high stakes decisions, especially in frailty aware or memory sensitive contexts, can wear down emotional reserves. To isolation and loneliness, social withdrawal, time constraints, and emotional fatigue often lead to caregivers to disengage from friends and hobbies. Loss of identity. Many caregivers report feeling like they've become invisible, defined solely by their caregiving role. 3. Grief and ambiguous loss. Watching decline. Witnessing a loved one's cognitive or physical deterioration can invoke ongoing grief. Ambiguous loss. The person may still be physically present but psychologically altered, especially in dementia care, creating a complex emotional landscape. Okay, 4. Guilt and self doubt. Feeling inadequate. Caregivers often question whether they're doing enough or making the right choices. Re- uh, Resentment and shame. Mixed emotions like frustration or resentment can trigger guilt, especially when societal expectations idealized selfishness, selfishness, selfishless caregiving. Would you like to explore how these emotional stressors can be addressed through therapeutic interventions like CBT, mindfulness, or caregiver support networks? Or perhaps how smart housing environments may help mitigate some of these burdens. Caregivers caregivers facing emotional stress can benefit from a range of therapeutic approaches tailored to their unique challenges. Here are some of the most effective strategies. Therapeutic approaches for caregiver stress. Cognitive behavioral therapy. What it does helps caregivers reframe negative thoughts patterns and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Why it works. CBT is evidence based and effective for reducing anxiety, depression, and guilt, common emotions in caregiving. Mindfulness and meditation. What it does encourages present moment awareness and emotional regulation. Why it works. Regular practice can reduce stress hormones and improve resilience, especially in high pressure caregiving environments. 3. Support groups and peer counseling. What it does. Provides emotional validation, shared experiences, and practical advice. Why it works. Reduces isolation and fosters a sense of community, which is crucial for long-term emotional health. Dance therapy and expressive arts. What it does. Offers a nonverbal outlet for emotional release and self-expression. Why it works. Particularly effective for caregivers who feel emotionally blocked or overwhelmed by verbal processing. Narrative therapy. What it does. Helps caregivers reauthor their personal stories, emphasizing strength and agency. Why it works. Can shift identity from burdened caregiver to resilient advocate, which boosts emotional well-being. Okay, respite care and structured breaks. What it does. Provides temporary relief from caregiving duties. Why it works. Even short breaks can dramatically reduce burnout and restore emotional balance. Would you like to explore how these approaches could be integrated into smart housing environments or caregiver training programs, or perhaps how they align with frailty aware care models? Great question. Within cognitive behavior therapy, several targeted techniques can help caregivers manage emotional stress effectively. Here's a breakdown of the most relevant ones. CBT techniques for caregivers, cognitive restructuring, purpose, identify and challenge narrative thought patterns, how it helps reframes thoughts to be more balanced and realistic, reducing guilt and self-doubt. Behavioral activation, purpose, encourages engagement in meaningful activities that have been neglected due to caregiving demands. How it helps. Counteracts depression and isolation by reintroducing joy and autonomy into daily life. Problem solving training. Purpose teaches structured approaches to tackle caregiving challenges. Scheduling communication. How it helps. Reduces overwhelm and builds confidence in managing complex situations. stress inoculation. Purpose: prepares caregivers to cope with future stressors through validation and rehearsal. How it helps: builds emotional resilience and reduces anxiety about unpredictable caregiving scenarios. Self-monitoring. Purpose: tracks mood, thoughts, and behaviors to identify triggers and patterns. How it helps: promotes self-awareness and early interventions before stress escalates. Relaxation training. That's the next section, guys. Sorry. Purpose: introduces techniques like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or guided imagery. How it helps: reduces psychological symptoms of stress and promotes calm during high pressure moments. These techniques can be adapted to frailty aware care models, even integrated into smart housing environments to support caregivers in real time. Would you like to explore how these CBT strategies could be embedded into caregiver training programs or digital platforms for real world application? Certainly. Here are some CBT techniques specifically tailored for dementia caregiving, drawn from both the document and broader clinical applications. All right. So the next section I'm going to do, it shows you how to integrate those into scenarios, examples. Okay, I'm going to do those for you. CBT techniques for dementia caregivers. Cognitive restructuring. Example: reframing thoughts. Like mom keeps asking the same question. I must be doing something wrong. To repetition is part of her condition, not reflection of my caregiving. Impact: reduces guilt and helps caregivers separate the disease from their self-worth. Behavioral activation. Example: scheduling short, joyful activities like listening to familiar music, looking through photo albums, or gently dancing. Impact: reintroduces positive engagement and counters emotional fatigue and isolation. Problem solving training. Example: creating structured routines to manage sundowning, wandering, or aggression, using visual cues and memory friendly design to reduce confusion. Okay, impact: builds confidence and reduces overwhelm by anticipating and managing common dementia-related behaviors. Stress inoculation. Example, visualization calm responses to repetitive questioning or unexpected outbursts, practicing scripts or calming techniques in advance. Impact. Prepares caregivers emotionally and reduces anxiety during unpredictable situations. Self-monitoring. Keeping a journal or emotional triggers like sleep disruption or difficult interactions, and noting patterns. Impact. Promotes self-awareness and enables early intervention before stress escalates. Okay, 6, relaxation training. Okay, example, using guided imagery to mentally step away during intense caregiving moments or practicing deep breathing during transitions, bathing, dressing, things of that nature. All right, so we're to the last page, guys. Impact. Helps regulate stress responses and maintain emotional balance. These techniques can be integrated into caregiver training programs, smart housing environments, or digital platforms that offer real-time supports. Would you like to explore how these strategies could be embedded into memory-friendly housing design or caregiver empowerment tools? All right, guys, so that is it for tonight. That is C for tonight. I will see everybody tomorrow for shows. For now, Gator Wellness, take care, folks.